Hi everyone, it's me again, it's Moj from Push, and this video, again, it might be that you've never seen a Push talk and you actually want some key points just about the things we talk about, or you've seen it, you've seen me do a session on something like this and you're having a little recap. So this one, we're looking at having the right attitude, or actually not having, developing, because it's about developing an attitude. Attitude affects everything. We often talk at Push about a rounded person. I've got a round badge here. I've also got this thing, which is something I carry around a lot with me. It's really useful for certain things, for three things actually. First one, scaring old women in the street. Hide behind a hedge, go, they get really freaked out. They walk past going, I have been hearing voices recently. I'm getting old. And you do that, it really freaks people out. Second one, don't do that much. Second one, my mum's never sworn in her life. So I snuck into a room, I might have told you this story, snuck into a room at about 6 AM and just banged this in her face and just screamed, "Mom!" And the words that came out of that woman's mouth, I didn't even know some of those swear words. She could write songs for NWA. Honestly, she should have one of those explicit lyrics stickers just stuck to her now. She'd never sworn in her life, or I'd never heard her. This was the gateway. And now the third reason why actually it's related to what I want to talk about, attitude, is because attitude affects everything. We talk about it a lot at Push. Imagine this was a pizza, okay? Imagine this was a pizza. Every single one of these slices that are here, you got 7 slices that make you into a useful, employable person. If you ever get worried about the term employability, just think usefulness. If you want to be useful, you can't just have one slice. Most people think it's about your grades. They're very important, guys. But if you don't have one of the other slices, which is attitude, that is one of your slices you've got to value. It's the same size as the other ones. If you don't approach things with the right attitude, your grades will suffer. Your mental health might suffer. The relationship you have with friends, with parents, with partners, with teachers might suffer. The whole point is, attitude is this slice where, have you ever had a dodgy bit of pizza? You ever had like the first bite of a pizza and maybe your mum's said dinner's on the table and you bite into it and you go, without looking, you just kind of bite into it because maybe you're looking at your phone, and then you go, "Mum, what is in that? What have you put on that?" She goes, "Oh, I put some sweet corn on and some olives." And you go, "I hate olives. Mum, that is, I can't eat the rest of this." And you kind of put it back on the plate and your mum's going, "Oh, that's disgusting." And she's like, "Come on." And she picks them off for you and you still say, "I can't eat it because it's a memory of the olives." Your attitude slice is that slice. It's either going to be fine, or you could have one bite of it and it could just cause the rest to not even, don't even want to touch the rest. Employers are basically, you're trying to create a desirable pizza for them. An attitude is that one slice where you could have all the grades in the world, they quite like that slice. You could have all the soft skills in the world, good initiative, teamwork, creativity, problem solving, what they call transferable skills. That slice could be great. You could have quite a nice personality. You could appear like someone who suits the job and the industry and everyone gets along with you and they can see in your eyes that you're passionate about the thing. You could have all those things, but if that slice is not good, the attitude, they might, because that might be the first bite they take, they might not want to go near the rest of it. Why a tambourine as well? Do you know why I always carry this around? Because attitude is something that you can really just snap out of instantly. If ever I feel like I'm not being true to myself and I'm taking life a bit too seriously, and actually my attitude maybe stinks, because you're only human and you're going to have times when your attitude just suffers a bit. Maybe you're having a bad day, relationship with someone's gone a bit kind of astray, or something's gone wrong at school or at work. You're always going to have days where no one's perfect basically, but this is why I remind myself of how crucial attitude is. It affects everything. If in the day I realise my attitude is not what it should be, I'm not going to be productive for the rest of the day. I'm not going to be good around other people. So what I do is I carry this around, and if I'm ever taking life a bit too seriously, or I think, do you know what, I'm approaching this in the wrong way. Maybe I was just quite rude to someone, or I'm thinking, do you know what, I've got voices going on in my head which actually are telling me things I should do in a negative way. I just do that. It's great. Also, it reminds me that I'm being a bit silly. So the point is, you can snap yourself out instantly of having the wrong attitude with something. I mean, what is the right attitude? Well, basically, think of it as 4 words: idea. I always say idea, I-D-E-A, okay? If you want to change your attitude to something, firstly, consider these 4 letters that make up idea. So the first one is be inquisitive. You have to be curious about stuff. If at any moment you realize you're not curious about something, you're probably bored, it's going to develop a bad attitude. You've got to find the curiosity, the interest in something, especially if it's something that maybe you don't want to do. You've got to just sometimes smile and go, look, could be worse. There's people in the world who can't even eat, who can't even make choices. War, persecution, all these kind of things. You go, do you know what? Actually, life's not that bad. I'm doing this thing right now. In the moment, is it that bad? If it is bad, find the curiosity, find the weirdness in it. Find something that makes you smile and go, yeah, I can find something in this that will make me want to concentrate on it. So that's I. D is you've got to do things. Don't just be inquisitive. You'd be surprised if you just throw yourselves into actually having to do something that maybe you don't always want to do. You'd be surprised how actually quite quickly your attitude can change and you can find some enjoyment in it. The next one is evolve. You have to evolve from doing it. Learn, think, what have I learned from that? Because I guarantee you, any activity you do, any experience you've had, good or bad, there is an amazing skill you've probably learned from it. One might be resilience. Resilience is a skill. One might be bravery. One might be having to deal with difficult people you don't always like. One might be how to get your point across in the right way, how to be creative. So always evolve. I mean evolve as in don't just do something and go, that was pointless. There'll always be a lesson to learn. If you learn the lesson from it, you'll know you've developed, which will mean your attitude will change because you'll look at things in a more positive way. You won't look at things as glass half empty. You'll look at things as glass half full. You'll go, that experience was a bit weird. And I had to do it for 3 hours. I didn't really necessarily enjoy it, but do you know what it taught me? Oh yeah, that'll be useful for the future. So naturally, you start getting a more positive attitude on things. You start going, it's actually quite good when I throw myself into things. Because you almost get this excitement of trying to find the fun in stuff that other people might just think is boring. So evolve. So that's I-D-E. And the final one is A, which is analyze. Analyze how you feel. Because you might have done something you didn't think you were going to enjoy, and then you might go, do you know what, actually that was quite fun. And suddenly your attitude's developed from being someone who thinks, well, that's just going to be rubbish, I'm not even going to bother with that. It develops into someone who goes, last time I chose to do this weird activity and actually it was alright, so I might choose to throw myself into more things. So attitude, guys, it's just about flicking a switch in your head and going, look at the positive side of things. Most times people don't do things and they have a bad attitude because they're really scared of what might happen. They go through all the things in their head for, oh, but if I choose to do that, that might go wrong and this might go wrong and that thing might go wrong and that thing might go wrong and that thing might go wrong. You've got to think, hang on, what is the worst that's going to happen in a situation? Genuinely, if you really think about it, with most things that you're asked to do that you might not want to do at first, there's not much bad that's really going to come of it. And also, secondly, you want to think to yourself, well, if I didn't do it, I might have missed out on a light bulb moment where I look back in years to come and someone says, how did you get into that job you now love doing? You might go, well, actually, I tried out this weird thing that someone asked me to do, or they asked me to give them a hand with this thing, or my teacher said there was this opportunity. I tried it out and oh my God, I had this light bulb moment where I went, I feel good doing this. This is great. I never even knew you could make a career out of this. That might be the light bulb moment. So attitude is about looking on the positive side, knowing not much bad is going to happen when you do something, really, and you'll still be fine. Often you'll still go home, you'll be fine as a person, and you can often probably find the things to talk about that didn't go right, but how that's made you better as a person. So actually approach things with that idea. Inquisitive, do things, evolve and analyze, and you will be fine. Attitude is going to affect everything you possibly do in life. and it will open your eyes to things. You'll probably notice things if you have a better attitude, and you will gravitate more opportunities and more people towards you, the right type of people you want to be around in life, if you just flick that switch in your head. So that's my advice. Good luck in developing your attitude, and buy a tambourine, slap yourself in the face with it sometimes, wake up your mum at 5 a.m. Who knows? Try not to scare the old grannies though in a hedge, because that's probably just me and I probably shouldn't do that. But that's my advice.